Hey, what's going down?
You're on the recovery pod.
Oh, say it slower. What's up?
Nothing. Just chilling with my baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a area to go in? Do you want me to initiate part 2? Do you want to freely flow?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I always got things to talk about, but they're always about what I'm going through. So
Yeah.
I don't always want to make it about
We don't got to do all that. So yeah, I've been wanting to tell you this, and it's like hard not to talk about it. Just in regular in person. So to the last one, the whole realization one, the part where you were talking about I don't want to live through this again. You know what I mean? Like, I need to make sure I'm good here because my extreme goal is to never go through this again, right?
Yeah, that was actually what I wanted to talk about.
Nice. Well, look at that. Universe vibes,
Hell yeah.
baby. So check this out. This might be a little hard to grasp, but this is what I was thinking about.
Okay.
Instead of keeping that feeling there, like, I need to do everything I can to make sure I never go through that again, right? Can you, or do you think it would be helpful to nurture the mindset of, I can handle going through that again? You know what I mean? Like, instead of keeping that there, like such a scary thing, getting the strength and courage not to willingly go through it again, but feeling like if I had to go through that again, I'd be more prepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that is a great outlook on that, but
But
it's kind of like what I did,
okay.
but not necessarily that. So instead of, but I like how you got me to realize, because you're like, okay, what if this life is all you got? And when I thought about it, it's like, well, fuck that. But then I'm like, well, wait. And I realized the whole time I was not living for myself. I was living for others. And I was living to live up to people's expectations. I was living to, I put this pressure on myself to complete a mission in this life that I don't want to have to go through again. But instead of thinking of it that way, honestly, after that pod, my whole perspective just flipped, because now all I have to think about is, okay, I have this life and I'm living it for myself. This is my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to live it to enjoy it. I need to live it to enjoy myself. I did not think about that ever that way. I never knew that. I never knew that this life was mine and for me to enjoy. It was always like I was under constant pressure from other people. I was under constant control of others since childhood. And it kind of just stuck with me. So that's why I couldn't be alone. That's why I needed other people to validate what I'm doing, to validate my existence. But then after that realization, I'm like, this is me. That's all I got. And when I think about what to do, even when I'm alone, I automatically, I'm trying to reprogram my mind. I'm telling myself, whatever you want.
Hell yeah.
Whatever you enjoy. And then ever since that moment, I started picking up hobbies. I stopped having all that anxiety all the time.
That's good. That's good. It's kind of like I'm kind of relating it a little bit to getting clean for other people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At one point it was like, oh, I need to get clean because I should, because people look at me funny, because I'm a father now, because whatever. But I wasn't worth doing it for myself, you know, and until I got to the point where like, no, not only because it's better to be clean as far as the way I handle myself, the way I feel on a regular basis, the consistency, but the worthiness of myself to do it for myself. Like, you are worth it, dude. And when you don't believe it, you don't believe it. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
to just snap your fingers and make yourself believe it if you truly just deep down don't believe it. But when you get to the point that you do, it's just like a whole different type of energy. Like, you don't, your your willingness isn't based on conditions. You know what I mean? Like, it's based on yourself. So it just hits a little different.
Yeah, totally. Like, just looking back to my thought process, like, this whole time up until, like, literally that day, I'm like, you poor fucking thing. Like, everything I did was because I felt like I should have. It wasn't because I wanted to.
Right. Well, don't beat
And
yourself up, because if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have got here. You know what I mean? So if you wouldn't have, like, kind of felt like it was so wrong for you to enjoy a hobby for so long, the hobby wouldn't feel so good now. You know what I mean? So you can appreciate some of it. Just don't look back like, oh, I wasted all this time. It's like, hey, you didn't waste any more time, you know?
no, I'm not beating myself up. I'm just like, I feel so bad for, like, my old self because, like, no wonder why I just anytime I had, like, that bad feeling about myself, I literally just wanted to kill myself. And I would, like, I would just hold it in, like, all the time because, well, that's not what you should be thinking, because you better fucking stay in this life, because in the next life it's going to be even worse. So I'm just like, okay, I'm sitting there trying to, like, make it, like, just trying to make it through all that, and up until I'm with somebody. And once I'm talking to somebody, I'm hanging out with somebody, I'm like, huh, okay, it's okay for me to, like, just exist.
Right.
It's fucking terrifying, and I'm so glad I'm over it. Thanks to this recovery pod.
See, I never really got it from other people. Like, I got it when I checked out into things. So, like, when I felt like so lonely and like I didn't want to exist, it wasn't like I need to surround myself with other people, because that makes me feel even more alone. Even if they're all like pulling me and glad to see me and love me and talk to me and give me attention, I'm still like, the way I feel is so much stronger, and then I'm not the way I want to be, and I don't feel how I want to feel. So I'm like almost just sitting there like closed off even more. But like when I zoned out, whether with drugs or just checking out in TV or whatever, then I felt kind of that peace. So mine was more like an introvert perspective of kind of disconnecting from myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just brought that up because like it got me thinking, like, when I first broke up with the mom of my oldest kids, like, that I never wanted to go through again. It was the worst thing. It was like literally feeling like my whole soul got ripped out of me, and just mainly with my kids, you know. And my goal was like, I'm never going to go through that again. So I will like just do everything I can to never experience that again, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it came time, you know, where I realized things were going in a similar path with the other mother of my youngest, it was like, I can go through that again. You know what I mean? Like, that same fear and that same resistance wasn't there. I was like, I'll survive this, you know. And I kind of look at it, and it just got me thinking about that when you were talking about it. And I know when you keep that, and I don't mean you, but I just mean when people in general, like, just keep something on that pedestal, like keep that monster over there, and they just avoid it, you know, you're always going to be scared of it. Every little slight noise, is that the monster? You know what I mean? Is this happening again?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I cannot let this happen again. If this happens again, I'll die. Remind yourself you already survived it once. You know, do some push-ups and say, man, fuck that monster. Like, where's the monster at? You know what I mean? And then instead of being like startled and scared of every little move, you're almost like on go. Like, is that the fucking monster? Let's go. You know what I mean? And it just, I don't know, just losing all that resistance and fear, it kind of frees you up a little bit. And it's still like another thing that's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
But at least if you think about that as an option, you can work towards that and help that grow, rather than scrambling, trying to set up life to never go that way again, because life is unpredictable. You know what I mean? Things are going to happen. And sometimes you can meet your fate on the path you take to avoid your fate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So what this basically boils down to is it doesn't matter what happens. It's like how you handle things. And what is handling things? It's the way your mind handles things, your thoughts. So whatever the thing that happens, if your thoughts get out of control and like fuck with you, like heavy, like, yeah, it's going to be hard to every single time you go through something like that, it's going to be hard. But if you just, maybe this time it was easier for you because you learned that, thought identification thing where you are able to detach from it more and just kind of like observe whatever's happening with more acceptance. So I feel like that can be applied to literally anything that happens in your life. I mean, if I were to lose my job right now, in comparison, when I was on the verge of losing my job last year, I would be like, oh, this is just a open door to, a closed door is another open door to something better. I probably deserve something better. This is going to push me to look for something different. A year ago, I probably would have relapsed. So,
right. It was all good just a year ago. Dude, when I got fired from my job at Walmart, I fucking smiled. I was like, yes. Even though I could have quit, and even though I didn't mind the job, but I didn't hate it enough to like force me out. And I knew there was something better for me. And then even the job I went to after, it wasn't, it involved a pay cut. It involved, a chance, like rolling the dice on something new. I may not be good at or not, which I felt like I would be good, but like it was still a risk. It was like the unknown, and I was comfortable at Walmart. Like I knew my place there. I knew what I was doing. It wasn't horrible for me, but it wasn't what I wanted to be doing. So, but when I got fired, I was like, cool. Like now the decision doesn't rest on me anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have to scramble with what the right move is. And it gave me a little more power to kind of ask for what I wanted from the other job that ended up matching. So I didn't have to take a pay cut. But yeah, everything opens up, man. Like it's even some doors that closed with COVID opened up other doors for me and gave me more opportunities, like this. I don't even know if we'd have done this without certain things happening,
Yeah, for sure.
So everything just happens the way it happens, but
yeah, I can't stress this enough, how ever since this COVID thing started, how much I mean, we all did, got pushed to that, spiritual enlightenment awakening. Well, the start of it, at least, for some. Because
yeah, I've seen a lot of people. It's like that. It's like forcing you to move. You know what I mean? Like shit happened, and you either became a whiner or you became a fighter. Because shit went left. Everybody's unhappy. Everything's unpredictable. Everything's not fair. Everything's not like it was. Like everybody's whole routine got shook up in so many ways. And you either adapted and rolled with it, or you just found more reasons to more excuses to kind of complain,
I feel like there's 3 types of people that things have happened to during this. And so I think the one type is the type that got angry and it's like, you can't take away my rights to not wear a mask. And
I'm not going to wear a mask. It's my right.
I'm a big boy. You don't need to worry about my health.
It's my constitutional right to come into this Denny's without a mask and eat my Grand Slam.
Okay, let's not get political. We could get a lot of backlash for this shit.
I'll make fun of the other people too.
Okay. We could be like South Park. Everybody gets shitted on equally. Okay.
I'm down.
And then I know you are. Okay, so and then the other side is like, they've been the stay at home their whole life already, playing video games or whatever, and just like has not been affected at all. So
That's
they're just
me.
like
Nothing's changed for me.
Cave all happy
Dude, like,
and shit.
the
And then
meme that first came out was just like, bars are closed, movies are closed, this is closed, gyms are closed. My life is exactly the same. Like, that's all me. Like, barely noticed anything.
and then the third
So
type.
you can make fun of me because I can't make fun of me because,
Well, I just feel like you're a little bit different because you already had that pre-awakening a while back. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I do have acceptance in my life. So it kind of helped out a lot. Like, I had like one minor COVID freak out where I was like, the end of the world's coming. How will I, like, when the cell phone towers go down and people are like dropping like flies, how will I get to see my kids in Florida or whatever? You know what I mean? Like this big 2012 adventure.
Was that when I called you and told you that we're all gonna die?
No, I just when I heard more and more about it, and when I think whatever it was the first 2 weeks shutdown. I was like, in this 2 weeks, we are going to see what goes down. Like, I literally thought if this thing was like as bad as it seemed at first, that like more than half the population of the world was just gonna like drop instantly. So I didn't know, and then I did. But even like I said, it was just like a mini like fantasy played in my head. Where I'm like, I should go stash some weapons and some drugs and whatever. But that was it. Like after that, I'm like, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm mentally prepared to lose people. I'm mentally prepared to die. I'm mentally prepared to just things not to be fair, things to really go left, and I just take it as it goes. Like, I haven't had a whole lot of stress over it.
Yeah, and then the third type is the one that, that like me, that just felt so horrible, but they weren't going to get like angry about it and start like freaking out, but just like sat with it and was like, okay, something's got to change because there's a reason why this is happening to me and I really need this right now.
So we have the anti-maskers, that's one. We got the hermits who are unaffected, that's two. And we have the people who want to change the world.
The fighters.
The freaker outers.
No, dude, I seriously, like, I was so used to being out and about and around like so many people all the time. And once I was like not around anybody, I was losing my fucking mind. I felt like even more disconnected and just, I was excited for the end of the world halfway because I'm like, man, finally,
I can't live like this.
Some sort of release here because fuck.
Well, yeah, you lost everything. You lost your school, you lost your job, you lost your gym, you lost your social connections.
Yeah.
Meetings shut down. I mean, we had Zoom pretty quick, but and then you don't like to isolate from people anyway.
Oh, no.
So you just basically got every comfort / distraction stripped from you all at once. Whereas me, nothing changed. I was out of work for 2 weeks only because they told us not to come into hospitals. And then I got my other job, which I immediately started, and we were doing telehealth. So it was like, I got a vacation. I was fine. I don't really go anywhere. I wasn't scared to go shopping. Still got my kid. You know what I mean? So it was like two different extremes once again. How opposite we are.
Opposites attract.
Not all the time.
And then very quickly retract when things go bad. But no, I was like,
you know, the universe expands and implodes simultaneously, like it's just pumping. All right, yeah, cut that. So what were you saying?
I'm sorry. I don't think I had enough brain cells to register what you said.
Good. I don't think anybody, or I really hope nobody else did either.
Okay.
I don't even think I knew what I meant. Firing on one brain cell here. And it's like halfway flaked off.
It's like, me.